your experience, who should replace Rishi Sunak, or should anybody?
Well, clearly, so let me say, first of all, I was a member of the Conservative Party for 49 years. I'm no longer a member for a variety of reasons related to what's happened over the last few years. I'm now a strong supporter of the Liberal Democrats. So I'm probably not the right person to give you the answer to the question who the Conservatives should elect as their next leader. But it's an issue they're going to have plenty of time to think about after the election, because I think it's pretty clear that there is almost nothing that the present government or any successor to Rishi Sunak could do that would change the voters' minds about the inheritance that will be left by this government. The issue is not who leads the Conservative Party. The issue is what the Conservatives have done in their 14 years in power, and the lack of any clear view about how to rebuild many of the things that have gone wrong with this country during the period that they've been responsible. The public services, the National Health Service, the Education Service, the Police Service, the Prison Service, our relationship with our major trading partners on the continent of Europe. That is the legacy of a group of people who have simply failed. And the reason they won't be re-elected is that they don't deserve, in my view, to be re-elected.
Part of that time, for example, we were dealing with a pandemic. That has affected the state of the Tory party a lot, would you not say, in terms of how they handled it? And yet any Prime Minister, any party would have had a rough job at the helm there.
Look, nobody ever says this is easy. Of course that's true. And of course it's true that the pandemic made life more difficult in the health service, which I follow closely, and in many other respects. But just focus for a second on the way the government handled the pandemic. We now see, as the public inquiry reveals what was going on, I was going to say behind the scenes. It was hardly behind the scenes. It was people averting their eyes from a government that simply wasn't doing the job as effectively as we're entitled to expect as voters and taxpayers to see senior people behave when they're responsible for the lives of people who rely on those services.
One quick question, final quick question, Stephen. Rishi Sunak says it's his working assumption that there'll be a general election in the second half of the year. Everything we hear, the pressure that he's under, people are saying it could be earlier. What would your advice to him be?
I think no Prime Minister votes or calls an election which they know they're going to lose. I think the truth is that the election campaign has already started. The only thing left to be decided is the date of the end of it. And that'll be as late as Rishi Sunak will set that as late as he can to give himself as much chance as he can to recover the position for the Conservatives. And also, quite legitimately, actually, Matthew Parris makes an important point, I think, in today's Times, to do the job of Prime Minister. That's a serious job. He is a serious guy. He doesn't have my support, but he's certainly better than his two predecessors. And he wants to carry on doing that job for as long as he's able. I don't think that's a source of criticism.
OK.